Stage is now mine. Oh boy. Saturn, it might just have to come to that.
Early one morning, the sun was shining. I was laying in bed, wondering what he'd changed at all. Never hair was still red. But her folks said that our lives together, it sure was gonna be rough. Never did like Mama's homemade dress, and Daddy's bank book wasn't big enough. Well, I was standing on the side of the road, rain falling on my shoes. I headed out for the old East Coast. Whoops. Lord knows I paid some dues getting through, tangled up in blue.
See, you give me all this crap about the pink shirt, make me forget what chords I'm playing.
She was married when we first met, soon to be divorced. I helped her out of a jam, I guess, but I used a little too much force. Well, I drove the car as far as I could and abandoned it out west. Well, we split up on the docks at night and both agreeing it was best. Well, she turned around to look at me as I was walking away. I heard her say over my shoulder, we'll meet again someday on the avenue, tangled up in blue. She was working in a topless place, and I stopped in for a beer. I just kept looking at the side of her face in the spotlight so clear. Then later on, when the crowd thinned out, I was just about to do the same. I was standing there in the back of a chair, said to me, "Don't I know your name?" Well, I muttered something underneath my breath. She studied the lines on my face. I must admit, I felt a little uneasy when she bent down to tie the laces of my shoes. Hi there, Blue.
Tangled up in blue.
She lit a burner on the stove and offered me a pipe. Well, I thought she'd never say hello. She said, "You look like the silent type." Then she opened up a book of poems and handed it to me, written by an Italian poet from the 13th century. And every one of them words rang true and glowed like burning coal, rolling off of every page like it was written by Russell. How you doing, Russell? You tangled up in blue. Well, I lived for a while in the Great North Woods. I was working as a cook for a spell, but I never did like it all that much, and one day the axe just fell. So I drifted down to New Orleans. I was lucky enough to be employed, working for a while in a fishing boat right outside of Delacroix. And all the while I was alone, my lass was close behind. I seen a lot of women, but she never escaped my mind. The much is true, tangled up in blue. Well, I lived with him in Montague Street in a basement down the stairs. There was music in the cafes at night and revolution was in the air. Then he started into dealing with slaves and something inside of him died. She had to sell everything she owned and froze up inside. And when it finally the bottom fell out, well, I became withdrawn. The only thing I knew how to do was to keep on keeping on like a bird that flew, tangled up in blue. Now I'm going back again. I got to get to her somehow. And all the people we used to know, they're an illusion to me now. Some are mathematicians, some are carpenters' wives. Don't know how they all got to them. I don't know what they're doing with their lives. But, okay, me me, I'm still on the road, heading for another point. We always did see the very same thing, we just saw it from a different point of view. We're getting an electric guitar from Voodoo. How cool is that?